Okay, welcome everybody, and thank you for joining the webinar. Just please give me a notification that you can hear me. If a few of you out there, why don't you type in where you're from? That way I know you hear me, and also I can get an idea where you're from. I'd like to see where everybody is from. Okay, Dwayne, thank you for that. So I know everybody can hear me. So thanks so much for coming. We have a really, really good turnout to this webinar. And I'm a little bit surprised because very honestly, I just did a little bit of emailing yesterday, but it tells me something that I knew. And the subject matter is what people really are interested in. Learning the market open, trading the market open. Everybody is interested in trading the market open. So let me just throw my webcam on for 1 second just to say hello. I'm not going to leave it on. Thanks for joining, everyone, and let's get started. All right. My name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the trading director for 10 Minute Trades. Please remember all the trades we discuss are for educational purposes. Now, I am going to start by doing a quick recap of everything we do at 10 Minute Trades because there's always new people. So please, if you know the deal, don't get frustrated. It's something we have to do. Just so all the new folks, we trade. It's a method called appointment-based trading, news trading, market event trading, whatever you want to call it. We trade fast-moving market events, and we have changed the way that we do it over the years. It used to be that we traded at the exact moment of the news. Now we trade around the news at the exact moment, before the exact moment. We have setups to really handle almost any market trading situation. We use the NinjaTrader platform and we use futures to trade. We're not trading stocks, options. We trade futures with the NinjaTrader platform. We have a very specific system. We have 4 elements that make up our system. We have 3 software strategies: the news trader strategy, the magnet strategy, and the trap trade strategy. Those are 3 strategies that cover all of the trading that we do. All of our various setups are inside those strategies. Okay? It's very simple. We install our strategies into NinjaTrader and we become a part of NinjaTrader. It's just that simple. All right? The 4 elements to our system: we have our weekly schedule. Many of the events that we trade have a DMM, a daily market trade report. We have our trade room access and our software. Those are the elements that make up our system. We have a weekly schedule that anybody can get for free. Just go to our website, 10minutetrades.com, opt in for the free video, and you can get our free schedule. The schedule is excellent for anybody that's trading in the markets because you'll know when events are coming out that will probably move the markets in a way that could screw up a trade if you're in the market in a trade. If you're trading oil and the oil report, storage report comes out and you don't know it's coming out, it can goof up your trade. So go to 10minutetrades.com, opt in for our free video, how to find your own 10-minute trades, and that will sign you up for our free schedule. It's a good thing to know what's going on in the market so you don't goof up your trades if you're not trading with us in our trade room. All right? The daily market mover is the second element in our system. Many of the events that we trade, we send out a daily market mover the day before the event takes place. Basically, the daily market mover is a trade setup report. It has information about the event, it has methods for trading the event, and then we talk about it in our trade room. And our trade room is the third element of our system. All right? The trade room, and then the fourth element is our software. And we're going to talk about software today. Our system is a simple, time-based, pre-planned approach to the market. We go into our trade room always on a specific schedule. We always know when we're going to be there. We know what we're trading almost always. We do have discretionary trades, but they're always part of a specific time that we're going to be in the trade room. In other words, and I'm going to show you a whole bunch of market open trades. We have trades around the market open. For us, the market open, it starts at 8:45, 8:30, 8:45 Eastern time. If a trade is working, we will trade it. And the reason I say if a trade is working, so we had an oil open trade and we traded it for 2.5 months. And for a month, it was phenomenal. People were making really good money. Sometimes events change. Sometimes a market open changes. So it's important to be part of a community so you know what's going on. We don't trade the oil open right now. It stopped working. And if you weren't in our room, you might have traded it a dozen more times before you realized it wasn't working. We knew pretty quickly that the event stopped working. It's obvious. But we're always testing, we're always updating our setups, and we're always trying to keep everybody as safe and as profitable as possible in the room. All right? But the trade room, in my opinion, is really important because we get to the room, for instance, at 8:45 in the morning, and we talk about the markets. We look at the market, we talk about the news that's going on in the world, we look at the movement in gold, we look at the movement in, the indexes, the MNQ, the NQ, and we try to make an intelligent decision based on market behavior what the setups should be. Should they be modified? Sometimes we will send out a trade report and it needs to be modified because the markets are just too volatile. And let's be honest, folks, we're in a war right now. The markets are very, very volatile. This morning, we had a gold situation where we were in the room to trade unemployment claims. Gold moved over 300 ticks in minutes. That tells you that you can't trade the report we sent out yesterday. The market has gone wild. You have to modify the setup. So it's very important, I believe, especially if you want to trade news and trade events with us, you should be coming into our trade room. It will help you to succeed. So it's very important and it's a part of our system. It's one of the elements and it's very important. But we're still, no matter how volatile these markets get, we still are in the trade room at a time we know we're going to be there, and we deal with our trades around the times that we're going to be in the room. Okay, so that's the way that we trade on a schedule. If you have a full-time job, you can pick certain times of day that we're going to be in the room, and you can join us for those times. You don't have to spend every trade room with us. There are 3 categories of events that move the markets: high impact economic reports, unemployment, jobs reports, FOMC statements, big company earnings reports. Obviously, they move markets. We trade earnings using futures. It's a great way to trade earnings. And then market open and closes. We do have a couple of market close trades. That's a very, very volatile time of day, just like the market open is. Personally, I like the market open better, but we do have setups for the market close. We usually do the market close when we're in the room for earnings after the market closes. I don't spend every single day trading market closes, but we do spend every morning trading the open. There are hundreds of triggers within those categories, and we pick and choose the best triggers, the best events to trade. That's how we find our trades. We get them from the various free calendars, forexfactory.com, investing.com. We show our members what calendars to look at. Those calendars list events that move the markets. We have vetted these events over the years, and we know which ones are worth trading. Sure, we might miss one or two. Hey, there might be new ones. We're always adding different things to do, different setups, but we find our setups and we teach you to find setups from the various calendars. And you've got Forex Factory, investing.com. All of these calendars have economic calendars that are geared by impact. In other words, investing.com has number of stars. The more stars on an event, the more impact they believe it has. And that's how it helps us to find the events to trade. Events that have the most impact are the events that we want to trade. So we find them and we teach them to you. And then we get our earnings trades from a website called earningswhispers.com. That's the first major investigation we do on a website, earningswhispers.com. That's the first place we go when we set up our earnings schedule, all right? And they have a great calendar. Earnings season really is just coming to a close now. All the big ones are over, but they have a calendar and you can just click through their calendar. They have a little control panel and then they list all the company's earnings that are coming out. You could do a little bit deeper dive by clicking the particular company, and then you get some charts and just more information. But that's all part of what we teach our members when we get into trading earnings with futures. But that's not why we're here today. All right. What we're doing can also be done, just so you know, in a prop account. Quite a few of our members are getting paid. And I want to show you that they really are getting paid. We're not just saying it. They're getting paid. Nitin is in our trade room every morning. He's been getting multiple payouts. All right. He likes using a company called Lucid, Lucid. He's had very good success trading with Lucid as his prop company. And then Langford, one of our best members who helps me figure out some of the earnings trades. He just got some payoffs from Bullinox, and Bullinox isn't trading a prop company that we like a lot. We support Ninja Trader, so everything that we do is Ninja Trader based. So if you get a prop account and you want to trade with us, you want to make sure it supports Ninja Trader, because remember, our software installs into the Ninja Trader platform, and that's critical. Everything is based around our software. So we have News Trader software, Magnet Trade software, reverse continuation setups. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So our software installs into Ninja Trader. You're looking at Ninja Trader live charts right now. All right. With Ninja Trader, and you can see the charts, right? You see the Ninja Trader platform right now, I would assume, I hope. Yes, I assume you're seeing that. Yeah, you are. Okay, good. When you right click and click the word strategy, it calls up our software. All right, I happen to have our Magnet software installed and almost running, but if you want to trade using our News Trader strategy, remember what I said, we have three strategies: News Trader, the Magnet, and the Trap Trade. The Trap Trade is a specific specialized reversal strategy. We use it all the time, but it's a strategy we don't generally use at the open. It's a strategy we use on reports and events that we know are going to reverse after the news has been released. And that's when we use the Trap Trade. Today we're going to talk about some of the setups that are inside our News Trader software and our Magnet software. News Trader software, when you call it up, it has something called the trade type. And when you click the down arrow, you get the three most popular trade types that we take during the day: the breakout, the range trade, and reverse continuations. Reverse continuations are super important. They are trade setups we use at the open all the time. You don't want to take a trade without having a stop and a target. One of our members asked me this morning, can you show me how to protect myself if I take a naked trade? And what he meant by taking a naked trade was he just wanted to enter a trade by pressing the buy market button or the sell market button. And if you do that, right, you're in the market and you have no safety. You've got no stop, you've got no target. You're just out there. What if somebody tweets something and the market drops 400 points in a moment? You're going to get stopped out of that trade. You don't have a stop, you don't have a target, you don't have control. The reverse continuation trade gives you the same thing. You can enter a trade at a moment's notice, but when you enter it, you have a stop, a target, and safety. Now, just so you know, what should you do if you enter a trade without a stop or a target? Take your cursor and put it, let's say you went long and you bought the market. Put your cursor below the current price, right-click your mouse, and buy a limit. Sorry, sell a stop. Sell a stop. You're long the market, sell a stop, and now you have a stop below your long. So if the market goes against you, you can move your stop. And then if you want to put in a target, right-click, sell a limit. Okay? And now I can move a target. If it gets to that level, at least I now have a target and a stop. So that's a quick and dirty way that you could put on a trade. But that's a foolish way for most people to trade because it's not safe. You don't have a target, you don't have a stop. So let's say, we're trading the open and we want to take a scalp because we think the market, maybe it's going to test a pivot, which happens all the time when we're trading the opens. That's one of the things that our magnet software does. It tests pivots. It tests popular levels on the charts where people put their orders, levels that people are always watching. I should say traders. We're not people, we're traders. Okay? So instead of buying naked orders and just randomly trading like a lunatic, we can right-click our chart, click the word strategy, highlight our news trader software, choose reverse continuation, and now I have the ability to put on a scalp, a one position trade with a target and a stop. And all I have to do is type in 3 numbers, the position size, my target 20 ticks maybe, and my stop 30 ticks. And then all I do, I label every trade because that's something we do. So let's say it's a scalp and it's on micro gold. So I label that MGC scalp. I press apply. I make sure the account is on the account I want to trade. If I've got prop accounts, I can choose the prop account I want to trade. If I'm trading cash, I choose my cash account. I'm on SIM. I press apply, OK, and now my trade is on the control panel of NinjaTrader, and it has a name, MGC Scalp, right? I called it Scalp, so I turned the trade on by enabling it, and now if I'm at the market open, I don't care if we're 10 minutes before the open or 20 minutes after the open, maybe there's an opportunity and I want to go short, but I want to do it safely, not like that other person just randomly put on an order. I have a controlled trade. 2 buttons show up on my chart. One is instant long, instant short, and I can put the trade on. And now I have a stop and a target. I can make my target bigger if I think the market's going to move in my favor. I can move my stop if I think I want to have more risk. The point is, Our software has the ability to create safe setups that are discretionary. Besides all of our automated trades, we have the ability to trade the market opens, all events in a discretionary manner also. And discretionary has become a very important part of what we do. Look at what's going on with the MNQ right now. I have a magnet trade that we use in the morning. We use it all day long, actually. The magnet trade has a high of day, low of day setup. All right. I can turn on the magnet trade. I can click high of day, low of day. Hang on, I'm sorry. I'm doing slightly different charts today. And I have an order line that I can move for my entry. So in other words, when I put on a high of day, low of day, I have an order near the high, and I can move that order. That's my order entry. And I have an order near the low. I can automate the fill by turning the magnet on automatic. Right now, I just turned the magnet on automatic. We just got filled. If the market tests the low, I would win the trade. If the market turns around like it turned around, I got stopped out. Now, I didn't set that trade up properly, so you can't judge it on what happened. But sometimes you'll take a trade and the market will change direction on you and you'll get stopped out. That happens. But I just want to show you the concept. Our magnet trade can take a trade automatically, and the idea is we are testing very busy levels on the charts. This particular trade was going to test the low of the day. If the price had gone through the low of the day, then I would have had a winning trade. It turned around, but that's okay. We're just showing you how to do it. In the morning, at the market opens, we tend to get a lot of good price follow through. And I'm going to show you magnet after magnet winner, but I just want to go over some of the concepts so you understand the concept. So the magnet strategy, which is a major way that we trade now, is a setup that targets exits on the charts. We're targeting levels where traders put their orders because those levels are tested over and over during the day. And the idea of the magnet is we want to exit when that level gets tested. So if that price continues down to the low, I'm getting my profit when I exit at the low. We also programmed into our magnet target the PP. That's a popular level that people trade around. Also, the VWAP, which is one of my favorite targets. We target the VWAP. So if the price goes up to the VWAP, I'm exiting when I get to the VWAP. And then the same thing is true of the market open. That's another magnet that we target the previous market open, and the high of day. Those are all separate magnet trades. We can bounce around from the various setups. I could have a high of day trade ready to go. It could change direction, and I could say to myself, hey, I'm going to do the VWAP trade instead, and I could just change the high of day over to VWAP on our control panel. Now I have to make my chart bigger. I made my charts easier to see for this webinar, but I could target the VWAP just by choosing the VWAP, and then my trade will trade and exit to the VWAP. Maybe the market will turn around and start going back down. Then I might trade the PP, and I could do the same thing, target the PP. Our magnet is a targeting system. You could also just take a scalp from where we are, and there's a way to do that as well. It's a targeting system, and we target very popular levels on the chart that traders put their orders around, and these levels are tested all day long. All right, and that's what a magnet trade is. Also, our new magnet software should be out, I'm hoping, next Monday. We have in our magnet system, you notice, let me see if I can set it so you can see it a little bit better. Let me change the color of my buy and sell so you could see it better. We also create selling signals, reversal signals around the VWAP and around the high of day and the low of day. Right here, the VWAP got tested and the rules fit our rules and it generated a sell signal after the VWAP was tested. It happened to be a fabulous signal. If I calculate on the ruler how many ticks this signal was, it was 500 ticks of potential profit. That's a monster trade. That was a phenomenal signal. Everything on the chart told us that this would be a good signal to trade. The momentum on the squeeze had gone negative. The MNQ is in a negative day. It's down 600 ticks. Usually I look at the MNQ in points. We have an indicator our software puts on the chart called the net change display. When you look at the MNQ, you should look at the MNQ in points. The MNQ is down 153 points. It's a very negative day. I'm looking very seriously at short signals. I'm not dying to take long signals on this day because the odds are not in your favor. You're still going to get some good long signals, but look, another excellent VWAP short. That's what we call our ARS system, aftershock reversal system, or aftershock reversal squeeze. It's a part of our new software. Those signals, when people come in our trade room, we're going to teach you how to decide which are the smartest signals to take. We don't take every signal. Sometimes you'll take a signal, you'll get stopped. But the way we designed this is the idea is the stops will be small because we know this signal is generated around the VWAP. So where are you going to put your stop? Enough ticks above the VWAP so if the trade goes against you, you get out. And because you're near the VWAP when you enter, the concept is the stops should not be that big. The stops should be manageable. So if you took a wrong signal and then a few minutes later you get another signal, we don't want you to be afraid to take that second signal. Look at what would have happened. Maybe you would have had, let's say you would have had a 40 or 50 tick stop on the MNQ. It's 50 cents a tick, all right? And there's nothing wrong with trading micros, especially when you're learning, okay? This all applies to any instrument. Our signals generate on any instrument. If you like trading the MES or the ES or gold, our signals will generate on gold. And the reason I'm talking about this is because these signals are generated often around the open after your first trade is over, after your magnet, or after you test the level, okay? And I'm going to show you the magnets, and then you'll understand what I mean. In this case, if this was the chart situation at the open, we would have possibly targeted the VWAP for the open trade. And then after the trade hits the VWAP, we got the short signal. Look at how many ticks were available. And folks, I'm telling you the honest to God's truth. This is a random chart that I put on for this webinar. I did not plan these signals. And if you know me, you know that I tell the truth. 555 potential ticks of profit. That's a beautiful trade. It's a beautiful profit. And it's way bigger than making the first signal which stopped you out. Sometimes, and we know the truth about life, sometimes you'll take the wrong signal. Here's a perfect magnet and then an aftershock signal. Look at what happened. And this was 10 o'clock this morning. Price went down, makes a new low, perfect magnet trade, and by the way, perfect VWAP trade on the way to the magnet. A smart magnet trader knows that there were two potential trades there. You have a sinking market, two potential trades, hit the low of day, the magnet is over, and if you're willing to take a long in this market, there was a great signal after a couple of lows were made, new lows, and then there was a fabulous signal. You don't have to take the first candle. You could take the third candle. It was clear that there was a real reversal taking place. Again, I did not plan these charts. This is totally random. Let's say I took the fourth candle in. It went all the way back to the VWAP, 410 ticks. These were big swings today. The market is swinging very well today. We love swinging markets, all right? These are the concepts we're using at the market open. The market open is presenting these types of opportunities. And also, one of the main reasons you're here is what do we do right at the market open? So I'm going to teach you two really nice trades that we take right at the market open. But first I want to show them to you. And then I want to tell you that we have a third trade. I'm going to show it, but I'm not going to teach it. If you want the third trade, you have to become a member. And I have an offer for you today that makes it real easy and inexpensive for you to become a member. So I want to show you some market open trades, all right? Let me just make sure that I covered everything I needed to cover in my slides. I think we're pretty good on the slides. All right, let me just shoot through real quick. Okay, can you trade market opens? Seeing is believing. So it's very important. And before I show you the trades, it's very important, I believe, if you set your charts up like ours, you will see these magnets much more easily than if you have a lot of extra stuff on your charts. So when we ship our new magnet software, it comes with a chart template that's configured to set your charts up exactly like ours. It comes with all the indicators pre-formatted, so in literally 1 minute, your charts can be set up like ours. Otherwise, I can show you in 10 minutes. We have about a dozen videos that show you how to set your charts up like ours. Why do we think that's so important? Because we use these indicators. We use the current day open, high, low. We use the pivots. We use the order flow VWAP. If you don't know what the VWAP is, we give you one. If you're not a Lifetime Ninja Trader subscriber, you need a VWAP because it is a winning indicator to trade around. The VWAP is always getting tested. If you like gold, the VWAP is tested by gold. If you like the ES tests the VWAP. It's an indicator. It just gets tested all day long on any chart you want to look at. And we also put volume on our charts and the net change display. Net change display is just a little number indicator that shows you if an instrument is positive or negative on the day. And then the squeeze, which to us is one of the most important indicators in all of our trading. And we have customized the squeeze for our setups. So let's go back to the charts. So you'll notice, gold is getting ready to make a new low. If I saw this happening, I might consider putting on a gold magnet trade right now. So it's getting ready to test the low of the day. Let's put it on while we're doing the webinar. All right, we'll wait and see what happens. I don't care much about the high of day. All right, I do have an order at the high of day, but I think gold's going to come and test this level. Now, I could have also put on a reverse continue and I could have entered early. I could also move my line, my order up to fill me because I was in auto mode. Get my stop way out of the way. I want a big stop if I'm trading micro gold. Why? First of all, I want to try to use market structure. And folks, I just want to remind you, this is exactly what happens at the market opens. These techniques that we teach at the market opens take place during the day as well. It's just faster at the market opens. So everything I'm teaching you now applies to the market open. So don't think you're getting shortchanged and I'm not teaching you the market open. Look at this trade working. This trade is working. Do I want to expand my target? I would put my stop to safety. So if the market changes direction, I cannot lose money on this trade. Could I expand my target? I'm not going to, because this is a test of the low. I could trail as it goes lower. If I get my price too close, it could turn around and take me out, okay? But this is a winning magnet trade. No matter what happens, I cannot lose. My stop is in profit. These events take place during the open. This is absolutely exactly the way we would trade it during the open. I might put an extra position on, right? You could put an extra position on, take a profit if it goes 15 ticks, and then take another position if it tests the low. That's what a magnet trade is, testing a level. Now, I'm going to keep the magnet trade on because if the time and the situation is right, we may get a signal to go the opposite way. That's why I always want on my chart a reverse continuation setup. Remember, we talked about reverse continuations. This is how quick I can put one on the chart. One position, a 30-tick target, a 30-tick stop, label the trade, always label your trades, MGC reverse continue, right? I'm in sim, I don't have to change the account, apply it, okay it, turn it on. Turn it on. Watch what happens when I turn this on. I get these buttons, instant long, instant short. If I want to enter a trade, I have an opportunity where if I get a signal, I might want to go long. I can press the long button and I'm in a trade safely. And over in the morning, this happens. Over and over in the morning, it happens. All right. Now, I'm watching. I think that this actually is a good place to take a reverse continue. We have something called standalone mode, which has more signals than regular mode. And you can just flip it to standalone mode to see if it's a potential signal. Believe it or not, when our signal says off, it's waiting for a certain configuration before it will generate a signal. Right now it has not generated a signal yet, so I'm not taking it. But we did have a beautiful magnet trade to the downside. I can tell you why our signal did not get generated, because I know how these signals are generated. We were not close enough. We didn't actually test the low, so it didn't generate a reversal signal. But our Standalone signals generate independent of levels, and that's why more signals are created with our standalone system. But that's not for this webinar. Suffice it to say, most of the time, a signal is generated at the right time. Look what happened on the MNQ over here. The MNQ, while we were talking and watching gold, it made a new magnet also at the low. And it made a long signal. It generated a long signal. So you would have entered if you believed it was a valid signal and you wanted to take the risk in this negative market. And it's a valid, maybe I'm not going to take a long signal, right? It's a very negative market. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. So we'll keep an eye on it and see whether it works or not. These signals are what we call our aftershock reversal system. They're part of our magnet software. And these signals offer opportunities during the open and during the time that you're trading magnets. And it's a fantastic part of our software. Let me show you the two trades that I was going to teach you that we trade every morning at the open. So I love gold. So I just love watching gold, folks. You got to forgive me. I think gold's going to make another new low. If you think you're going to get another new low, you could put the trade back on. If it breaks this line, it'll put you in the market short again. If you think it's going to go down, it's going to fill. If you want to bring your order up, right, so it gets pierced, I like to have a big stop on magnets. Usually I use market structure. If there's an area on the chart where price started to go down or reversed and then started again, I use that market structure for my stops so that I make the market work as hard as I can so it doesn't stop me out easily. I want the market to work hard to stop me out. I don't want to make it easy for the market. When you learn to use market structure for your stops, it'll give you the ability to stay in your trades longer, okay? One of the big failures, especially of new traders, they think if you make your stop smaller, it creates less risk. It doesn't. If you make your stop smaller, it often creates more risk because it makes the stop much more probable. The reason they think it's less risk is because the dollar amount of the stop out is less because the stop is smaller. But if you're creating a situation where you're going to get stopped out over and over and over because your stops are always too small because you think you only want to lose $20, that's a bad way to do your stops. If you use market structure, yes, the risk might be higher because the ticks of the number on your stop is higher, but the odds of you staying in the trade and hitting your profit are better. So use market structure and you will do better than if you just create random stops based on, oh, I only want to lose $30 on this trade. That's the worst way to create stops, okay? These are the things we teach and talk about all day long in our trade room. When we're there at the scheduled times, we're there. And that's important to remember, at the scheduled times that we're there. We're always in the trade room when the market is going to move because those are the times you get news, market moving events. And those are the times that these discretionary setups work the best. All right. Let me show you the two trades that I'm going to teach. First, let me show you the two trades I'm going to teach. And we'll keep an eye on this, see if gold does another magnet. One thing to understand about magnets. Magnets are like traders who like to trade new highs and new lows. Trading the first new high is better than trading the fifth new high. It's a better probability. Magnets are the same. trading the first or second magnet of the past 3 hours is better than trading the fourth magnet. Okay? That's the way very often trades work. When you're trading a fresh new high, there's often more momentum to that fresh new high than there is if it just made a new high and it's going back to test it again for the third or fourth time. Look at, by the way, this great signal that was created when gold made a new low at 1130, micro gold, through a signal, and we would have entered somewhere in the candle after the signal candle, and the market went up 234 gold ticks. Now, I'm not saying 234 ticks of profit was available. Not everybody can grab every bit of profit, but that was a phenomenal signal. And folks, I just put these charts on randomly. There's days where you get crappy signals. It happens. Not every signal is a good signal. All right? I'll say that over and over. Not every magnet is a winner. All right? This trade isn't a winner, but we were just testing to teach, okay? I'm not saying I would have taken that trade, but you understand now how the magnet works. Let me show you the trade I'm going to teach you on the YM. So we trade the YM market open every day, and we trade YM magnets. That's my favorite trade on the YM. But one of the slides I made is, why do you want to be part of a community, right? It's one of the slides that I made for this webinar. And I think it's one of the most important slides that I ever make. Why be part of a community? So you can share our setups. Members are sharing in the room different setups. So yes, I love YM magnets. Langford loves a YM range trade on the open. And we all share setups because that's how life is when you're part of a good community. Let me show you my magnet YM setup. So first thing I'm going to do is let me put my chart on the YM. So I'm going to turn off my MNQ trade. All right. Change my chart YM 326. And now we're looking at the YM. And I don't have anything set up at the moment on the YM. All right. So the first thing we do when we come in the morning is we put a reverse continue on the chart. Now, I will say this. Our magnet trade has a reverse continue strategy built in also. It has the reverse continue trade built in. So if you learn to use our magnet software, it's really easy to take a reverse continue trade just by entering the setup into the magnet. So first thing I do is go to strategies, go to magnet, and in this particular case, we just made a new high or low. But normally in the morning, we can put on a new high or low trade. And then we just tell the software, how many positions do you want to trade? Maybe I want to trade one position to test the low or the high, and then I want to trade a second position if it goes through the high or the low. So our software defaults 3 ticks away from the magnet. The first target is 3 ticks away. And then the second target is whatever I type. If I want it to go through the magnet 10 ticks, I just put a 10 in. And then if I want my stop to be 50 ticks, I just type the word 50. I now have a magnet trade set up. It's going to trade 2 contracts, one for the low of day, high of day, and if it goes through the low of day, high of day, I'll get extra ticks of profit. Remember I said there's a reverse continue setup inside the magnet? It's just labeled reverse continue. And you just put in how many positions, what's your target, what's your stop. I'm going to do it slightly differently, and I'll tell you why. I label the YM magnet, all right? I label every trade. I said that over and over. I stick to it. It's the most important thing. Right now I'm in sim. I have a label. My trade's ready to go. All right. I just press apply to apply the settings and OK. Press the enabled button to turn on the magnet. Now, my price is below my entry. This is not a valid magnet because the price is already below entry. So I would just turn it off at the moment. Turn the magnet off. Because, first of all, I wouldn't have turned on a high of day, low of day magnet when I was that close to the low. So we could just put the software in off mode where it generates signals, or wait and you could target a different level. I could wait for price to go back to the VWAP, okay, and I could target that. Sometimes you might not have a magnet, or we do have a mode that lets us program a custom level. Any number we type in, any value, and we could target that value, okay? So for argument's sake, I could do a manual entry price. I put that like inside the software where I was configuring the software. So let's say I want to have 47,900, whatever reason. Maybe I think price is going to go to 47,900. So when I turn my magnet on, there's my order for 47,900. That's my order. Okay? And if I want to enter, I would move down a little bit from that area, and I know I'm going to exit at 47,900. Price goes up, it's going to pull me in the trade, right? It's going to pull me in where my order entry line is. But I have the trade set up to exit at 47,900. But that means you can trade any level you want or the targeted areas that we like. If you're just watching the software, and you're not in auto mode, it won't trigger. But I pressed the button when it was blinking purple, and it triggered my trade. So the magnet will blink when it gets to the right level, okay, if you're not in auto mode. So in the morning, we trade the YM. I set it up very simply. It's very easy to do. I put the magnet on, and I configure it. I configure it almost always for a high of day, low of day. All right? And let me start from scratch. I'm going to configure it for a high of day, low of day. And I'm going to choose the number of positions I want to trade. If I want to trade one position and get out at the high of day, then I put position is a 1. If I want to trade a second position, position 2, and I can give that the target, 20 ticks through the magnet, no problem, and I have a stop. So that's my magnet trade. All right, that's my morning magnet. That's all I need to do. Label it, YM magnet, apply it, okay it, turn it on. Okay, now I have a valid. We're far enough from the low of day that we can wait, just like if we were at the open. If price goes down and I have the button purple, it'll fill me automatically. But don't forget, I also want my reverse continue. I like a separate reverse continue on the chart. I like to trade 1 or 2 contracts for a 35 tick target with a 35 tick stop on the YM. All right. We just tested our order level. If the price goes to the low, this would have been a winning magnet. Now, I'm not trading it because I'm teaching right now, but I do want to show you this is the way we do it in the morning. We label every trade. I label the reverse continue. It's very important. Label YM reverse continue. Then I know if I have multiple setups that I'm working with up top, when I turn it on, I get my instant long and my instant short buttons. Look, folks, another short magnet worked. It's amazing. If you get a trending market like this, you can take magnet after magnet after magnet. It's no different than trading it at the open, except it's a different time of day. Everything we do is the same. It's just a different time of day. This trade was a winner. It ended. And now I would turn off my high of day, low of day, and just watch signals. Watch, you'll see. We should get a long signal if the price goes up. So my YM trade, the magnet, I'm usually looking for one or two targets, one or two positions, and I'm targeting the low of day, 3 ticks before it gets there, and possibly 10 or 15 ticks through that level if I trade multiple contracts. And then I also put on the chart a reverse continue setup. So if after the magnet or before the magnet, I think a level is going to get tested, I can just press long or short button and enter the trade. Let me show you a whole bunch of magnets over the past 2 days live in our trade room. Now, full transparency, we did have a trade that didn't work this morning. I got stopped out of a YM magnet this morning, but I had a winning magnet before that. And I probably made a bad trading decision by jumping into the trade when I did, but doesn't matter. Every trade doesn't work. But you see, folks, we had like 5 winning magnets in this webinar on random charts that we just turned on. And that's just a regular trading day. Okay, here's a video. Current magnet trade. It was either today or yesterday in the trade room. Watch right here, dead center. Here's the magnet taking place at the market open. Our order line is the red heavy line. Our target is the low of day. This was actually before the open. Remember what I said? We're trading magnets starting at 8:45-ish in the morning. We're trading the open, 8:45. Price, it moves kind of slow usually that time of day. But notice what happens. Our magnet button is in auto mode. It's going to automatically fill me if it goes through that order. It fills me, hits the first target. I moved my second target up a little bit nearer to the low, and it filled the second target. A beautiful winning trade. YM magnet. That was this morning in the trade room. Let me show you another one. I can show you magnet after magnet after magnet winner. I mean, that's why we're here. I'm here because I want you to join with us. Let me teach you how to trade these magnets. Here's a YM open where, look at where price was. We had a short and a long magnet set up. Short got filled. Bingo. Trade's over. That was a winning trade. Over. Magnet. Another winner. I think I have another one on this video. Let's see. No, there was only one on that video. That's fine. Let me show you another one. YM magnets. These are the ones we trade every day. Here's 2 days ago in the trade room. YM magnet. Same setup every morning. YM in the middle. It's been a lot of lows, folks, because the markets are negative the past few days. The red line is our heavy line, is the order. The other red line is the low of the day. Filled. Price is going to move down. It's going to get magnetized into the lower day. Hits the first target, my stop goes to safety. That's a winning trade now because my stop's now at break even. Okay? Now we're going down. Bingo. Hits my next target. So, folks, magnet after magnet after magnet. They work over and over. That's my YM magnet. Now I want to show you my MNQ market open. We trade the MNQ virtually every morning on the market open. Let me simplify a little bit and get rid of some setups. It's just a little bit confusing. Notice this gold magnet is not losing anymore. We never got stopped because we used market structure to place our stop. And now it's starting to go more profitable. All right? So that magnet I put on, still, you have an opportunity to make money on that trade. Again, very important to learn what's the best place to put your stop. My teaching you that is better than almost anything I could ever teach you, anything else. What could be better than knowing how to place stops? There's nothing better. All right, let's put the MNQ on just for a moment. And we're almost done. I know this is going longer than I thought. MNQ, magnets have just been created nonstop. The markets are horrible today. We're not going to get political, but wars are not great for markets. All right. Now, I believe the MNQ is perfect for market magnets at the open. Currently, we're trading a breakout, and that's the trade I'm going to teach you. I'm going to load in my MNQ breakout just because I'm going to share the settings with you. I have a template for it, so I don't have to type it in from scratch. I just load my template. I have a whole bunch of trade templates saved, and it's just called MNQ New Market Open. That's easy, right? MNQ New Open. Load it in. All right, here's my setup. It's a breakout trade. That means we're going to put orders above and below the current price. Right before the market opens, we're putting our orders above and below the current price. 35 tick bracket, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. I trade 3 to 5 contracts on the MNQ, and I had a 30 tick target, and usually I change it to 100 on target 2, and I usually up my stop to 150 right now from my template. It's totally reasonable. Remember, it's only 50 cents a tick. So that's only $75 per contract on the MNQ for the stop. That's not a very big stop. So I've got a target of 30, a target of 100, but if it hits my first target, I'm telling the software, move my stop to break even. Okay? I don't want to hit my first target and then lose if it reverses. And it does reverse a lot. The MNQ reverses like crazy. Then we just turn on our trade. I'm going to get brackets because the time for this trade has already passed. So my brackets are going to show up on the chart. Now, there's a line that our software puts on the chart for various reasons, and we can remove that line if you want to. That's what I'm going to do now, just because I want to explain the trade. So I'm just removing the vertical line. It only takes a second. Now I'm going to put my orders back on. I'm going to spread them. So when we say 35 tick bracket, here's our upper bracket. That's our long order. Here's our short order down here. So that's 35 ticks away from the current price. So that's our MNQ setup. And believe me, folks, in the morning, that trade fills very fast. Let me show you this morning's trade. So today is March 5th. This morning we had a winning trade at the open. Look left this time. Look left. All right. Looking left, you'll see our brackets. There's my MNQ brackets. Okay. It's already bursting up and down, but we didn't get filled yet. It bursts up through the order. I'm long, I'm profitable. I move my target because it hit my first target. Sometimes you have time to make that 100 target bigger. And it allows you to trail your stop. So understand what I did here. The trade filled me long. That's what happened right here. And then I expanded my second target because I saw it hit my first target, and I moved my stop profitable. I cannot lose on this trade. I can only make more and more until it turns around and takes me out. That's our MNQ trade. That was this morning. It was a great little winner. Then I'll show you another really crazy one that we had this week. Over and over and over, the MNQ, more often than not, it hits target one and then reverses. Some days, it does what you saw this morning, and it goes through both targets, and it lets you expand the target for more profit. Some days, it has a crazy trade, and it just keeps going and going and going, like the famous Energizer Bunny, right? Look at this trade. And this, full transparency, this is not an everyday occurrence, but this is a market gift when this happens. So we had an MNQ, look to your left. We have our bracket, 35 tick bracket, my targets, 30 and 100. And I use a stop on the MNQ of 150. That's my trade setup. Watch this trade. So it's going to fill me long. I move my stop to safety, break even, right? And now I expand my target so I can trail my stop and keep making money as the price keeps going up. As the price keeps going up, I keep expanding my target and trailing my stop in the direction of the trade. I'm making more and more money as this trade is going on. I'm still in the trade. This is a real trade from a couple of days ago, like 2 weeks ago. It just kept going up. It wouldn't stop. It kept going and going and going and going and going and going. Watch, it's still going. This happens. I mean, it doesn't happen every day, but it happens. You want to know what to do if it happens. Expand your target. Trail your stop. Stay in the trade. Grab as much profit as possible, because eventually it'll do that. It will turn around and take you out. That's an MNQ trade. Now, one short side, one problem with the MNQ trade, when it stops out, it's an expensive stop. So you want to be able to take advantage of every gift that the market gives you. If the market gives you more profit on a trade, you've got to try and learn to take those extra profit trades. Because when the market open stops, you have a big stop, so it wipes out more than one winner. That's a negative of a micro opening trade. When you trade the full size MNQ, it's much easier to make a profit and keep that profit. So those are things you have to consider, though, when your trading market opens. Okay? Now, there's a third trade that I want to show you. But there's a catch to this third trade. All right? So I showed you our MNQ open, but in order to get this RTY open, which has been a very, very nice trade, I want to show it to you. To market open trade, we trade the RTY. Why do you want to be part of a community? Because one of our members designed this trade, and it's a community trade. And we really pride ourselves on creating a better and better community every week that goes on. This trade, one of our members, like I said, designed this trade, shared it with the community. Of course, if we think it should be modified, we will. But it's been trading really very nicely, and I just want to show it to you. Let me show you one. This was today. Now you got to watch all the way to the right. All the way to the right, we have a range being created. The range gets broken. We got filled short. Price popped down. Profitable trade. It's already over. That's how long it took. So the catch is, if you want to learn this trade, you got to be a member of the community. That's not asking all that much. So folks, here's the deal. It's real easy to become a member of the community. Now remember, I showed you the ARS system also, right? The ARS system. And keep in mind, ARS should be ready next week, for real. We had a slight delay in the software being released, but I'm in constant contact with the programmer. We're just ironing out a few things that we found. The ARS system is part of the new software, all right? Signal generation after the magnet is made. It's an awesome, awesome part of our system. So why be part of a community? Because we share the setups. And here's the deal I'm going to make for everybody here today. This is new members only. You cannot take our trial if you've ever been a member before. So here's the deal. And I want everybody to be clear. We've let people take multiple trials, but we can't do it. You know, you got to make a living. We're trying to make a living here. We're very reasonable, and we're unbelievably fair. If you are a current member, here's the link to be a member, and I'm putting it in the chat. Okay, everybody that's a current member, if you want to take advantage of all these new setups, the time is now. These are setups that we're trading every morning, and many of them are working over and over and over. If you're a new member, we have a trial. It's a 30-day trial. You can join us for everything. All our trade rooms, everything that you want to do, you could be a part of. You get access to our software, access to the daily market movers, access to the trade room, trap trade, magnet software, trade in a prop account. I showed you proof that our members are getting payouts. Proof. www.gopro25.com, and you can take our trial. It'll bring you to this site right here. Give me half a second. This is where that'll bring you, sorry. And it takes a minute to sign up. You get everything, plus some gifts, some bonuses for joining our trial, all right? It's not very hard to do. I think everybody knows how to place an order. It's pretty easy. www.gopro25.com, all right? I'll type it in. All right, it's in the chat. We want you to take this trial. The trial is going to expire Sunday at midnight. It'll be gone, all right? www.gopro25.com, new members only. That's the catch. Got to be a new member. You'll get all the news trader strategies, magnet trade. The new setup will be available next week. We'll teach you all the appointment-based trading methods. Trade the open with us. We'll teach you how to do it. It's hard to learn in 1 second. Today it was 1 second. When you come in the trade room a couple of times, before you know it, you'll be an expert. Trading on a schedule, trading when the markets are going to move. I'll guide you step by step. That's my job. I love teaching. If you need help or you have extra questions, just go to help@10minutetrades.com. Otherwise, place your order at www.gopro25.com. $20.26 to take the trial. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, folks. It's absolutely ridiculous. Okay? We want you to join. We want a bigger community. We want more new trades. It's fun when members come up with trades. We come up with dozens of trades. But when members come up with trades, it's awesome. Nothing beats a member trade. It's a lot of fun. So I hope you enjoyed this webinar. I hope you learned something. Magnets are phenomenal. We love trading this way. And I want to thank you for coming. Just www.gopro25.com. Join with us, and I'll see you in the trade room. Thanks, everybody, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. See ya.